All right, let's check in with the Money Desk. Devin Morgan is with us. And Devin, I see Standard Bank has made this about turn. Earlier this week, they were so adamant about this policy regarding, their mandatory vaccinations. What happened?
Yeah, it is a bit of a surprise. And they are saying those employees that were laid off as a result of not complying, I can't see the word reinstated in that press release, but I suppose they're saying opportunities are open. You can come back and that will
reapply.
Perhaps that's the way. It would be nice for me to pose that question to Standard Bank. But let's give you some context. Standard Bank, intending on rehiring workers, it fired for refusing to comply with its mandatory COVID-19 vaccination policy, which it's now scrapped. The bank withdrew its vaccination policy on Monday, you'll remember, after banking union SASPO was set to challenge it. At least 40 of the union's members were fired by the bank for non-compliance. Standard Bank South Africa CEO Lungisa Fuzile says following the withdrawal of the policy, the bank was engaging on re-employment opportunities. Now, I want to get the word from the General Secretary of Banking Union SASPO, Joe Kokela, just get his insight on where he understands the situation to be. Joe, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. I mean, help me understand this. This is not a reinstatement of those staff members who were fired by Standard Bank, is it? I mean, the bank is simply saying that they've scrapped the policy and those staff members can apply for those positions. Are you happy with that? And have I got that right in reading it?
Devin, thank you very much. You've got it right in reading. And I must say that as the finance union as SASPO, much as we welcome the withdrawal of the policy, and also the one step that is taken by the bank to consider relooking at our letter that we have sent to them, where we demanded that all that were dismissed, they have to be reinstated. Now the bank is coming in to say people have to reapply for their jobs. So you understand it very well, but we don't think as SASPO that is going to happen because of we've called for the reinstatement without any conditions of those members that were dismissed by the bank.
It does seem like a U-turn of sorts, doesn't it, Joe? I mean, Standard Bank puts its decision to a number of developments and policies announced at a national level by the health minister. You're not altogether happy with the statement that was released today, but what do you think spurred the bank for this decision and this apparent U-turn since Monday?
Look, the union has put a lot of pressures into the bank. And much as have put a lot of pressures, we also, today it was the D-Day for a Standard Bank to come clean, whether they fulfill the demand of the union, which was to reinstate all those that were dismissed. Failure to do that, Monday we were going to start filing with the Labour Court, to challenge Standard Bank on all the decisions that they've taken, especially when it comes to the not reinstating those members. So the change of heart was the pressure that the union has put into Standard Bank. And we can even tell to say at some stage they were so adamant that they were correct and they wanted to quote the law. And we believe as SASPO that all the laws that they wanted to quote, they were outside the Labour Relations Act. There's nothing that speaks to COVID-19 within the Labour Relations Act of this country. And also their policies were not based on any other thing except the Health and Safety Act, which speaks of two things. The Health and Safety Act, it says the employer has the right to create a conducive environment which will be safe to the workers. But on the very same act, on the same Health and Safety Act, you get a line that says even the workers, they've got the right to refuse to work into an environment that will be not conducive. So Standard Bank only looked at one side, and we must say that the majority of those members that were dismissed are people who are working from home. So that alone tells you to say whoever has made that decision was made without considering all the aspects and all the facts that they speak to an conducive environment. So that is why now they're taking a U-turn, because they've realized that they don't have a leg to stand on. And I can still say to you, if they refuse, I am going to send another letter today to Lungisa to voice to say, I'm not satisfied with the cool, cold and warm. We want something that is either as cold or it's warm. It's either they reinstate those workers without any conditions or they don't. Because for now, they're sitting on top of the rents.
All right, let me come in there just before I let you go. I mean, it's a whole issue of certainty now, isn't it? I mean, what are the timelines here, if any? Because there's no guarantee that those members will be rehired, if they do apply. Is there any sense of any timeline here in which we can sort of respond to those, Standard Bank, in fact, could respond to those workers that were laid off?
But look, there's no timelines, and there will be no timelines of reappointing, because of reappointing and reinstating is two different things. If you reinstate someone with no conditions attached, and it means that the length of service will also be considered. But if you rehire, it means that you can put the conditions, and it means that that person will have to start from scratch. So there will be no timelines. All that is to happen is to say we want them to reinstate those people that they dismissed without even rehiring. We don't want rehiring. Rehiring to me is a foreign word. We want a word that will say reinstatement of those workers. So on Monday, in fact today, I will issue a letter to Standard Bank to say, much as we realize as the union that you want to rehire some of those workers that were dismissed, we demand as the union that you don't rehire, but you lift the dismissal. Every worker must come to work with no conditions, and failure to do that by Monday, and then we are going to fight.
All right. All right, thanks very much indeed. Your signal just breaking off there in the end, but we got the gist of it. Secretary, or rather General Secretary of SASPO, Joe Kokela, thanks very much indeed for your time.